Welcome in Monday edition, Blue Sky Live here with you today. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio. Ole Miss baseball knocks off the Auburn Tigers 2 out of 3 over the weekend. Regular season is over. Ole Miss 16-14 in the SEC. Headed to the SEC tournament as the number 7 seed in the SEC tournament. You guys would have taken that going into the season. The vast majority of you would have been cool with that. So can they host? What's the situation? We will hit on those topics and more today on a podcast brought to you every single day by Blue Sky Locations through Hall through the state of Mississippi. Those are the topics today. Through the state of Mississippi, up and down I-55, throughout North Mississippi, the epicenter down in Macomb. You got Sweet Daddies. When you got Sweet Daddies locations, you get catering, whether it's family, extended family, reunions, corporate events, whatever. They will take care of you. And again, we're coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are indeed. Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for my friend Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you are looking for. He will send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's really that simple. It's right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. And the rest is completely up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. 662-257-1900. Guest join on the Campbell Clinic hotline. From fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions, the pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford, the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi, providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit CampbellClinicOxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111.
So, what?
I said, there's Cody Bellinger, former Cub. Hadn't seen Cody in a while. I haven't watched a lot of baseball.
He is hitting 243 on the season, per
Okay.
the situation up there.
Always seemed like a decent enough guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You don't seem attached.
No, I never got attached to Cody Bellinger, but he had a nice seat for the Cubs. I appreciate his contributions to.
You appreciate his contribution to the Northsiders there?
To the Northsiders.
Oh, okay.
You know, sometimes people, their contracts expire and they move on to different places. It happens. It happens in baseball. It happens in the real world.
What was your nerve level prior to that game yesterday?
Prior to the game?
Yeah, prior.
A 10.
Was it a 10?
Yep.
Okay.
About the end of the first quarter, it was about a 37. I was getting nervous. My boys looked tight.
Right.
We looked really young.
And then
we went on the end of the first quarter run, and everything began to settle down. Jalen Williams looked like Jalen Williams in the second quarter. And by halftime, my nerves were way down, and by the end of the third quarter, my nerves were at 0.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. They went by 28, something like that.
30-something.
Oh, okay.
They led by 40 at one point.
All right, close enough.
Yeah.
So, not going to get into the minutia of the weekend. We'll talk about where Ole Miss is situated now at the end of the regular season. Ole Miss plays well the first 2 days. Thursday and Friday get wins over an Auburn team that really hits it. They are relentless at the plate. They come after you. They keep coming and keep coming and keep coming, and they're good. Shut up. I don't know if they have enough pitching, but
that's what she said.
Yeah. Here we go. I don't know if they have enough pitching, but they can swing it. They're
one of 2 teams in the league that you do question their pitching, but they can absolutely hit their way to Omaha, Georgia, and Auburn.
Yeah, they can hit their way through the parks and play at home for at least a minute, and we'll see where it goes there. Ole Miss lost the series by having to use the pitching they did on Friday night. That is the reason that Ole Miss did not sweep Auburn, and we would be talking about an Oxford Regional that would be in the bag at this point. And that is because they led 13-4, I think, going into the 6th inning of a game that they ended up having to use Spencer. They had already used Morris to get to that point, which was needed. Mike picked the exact appropriate time for Mason Morris on Friday night. But having to get Spencer up, and then we found out on Saturday, I didn't know this in real time, that he had gotten McCausland up even after Spencer was in the game because that got hairy for a minute. So you ended up burning McCausland and Spencer in a game where you led by 9 runs with 4 innings to go. So that is the reason that Saturday was quite the work in progress from a pitching standpoint. It's why I focused my content after the game on look, they've got a good ceiling. It's a team that absolutely could get to Omaha with the right draw.
Yep.
It's also a team that has to get bullpen management to sort of perfection. And that's not just when people pitch. That's when you get people up to warm up. That's not getting unlucky where it's 2-2, like State. They got Moises Morris up in a 2-2 game, and you're going, hey, we need him right now. And then your offense scores 7, and it's like, what do I do now? Because he's hot. So I got to do something. And you got to figure it out there at that point.
It's also where people that watch, and this is not making fun of fans, because media does this too a lot. A guy gets up. It's not like Little League where a guy throws 10 pitches and he's in the game. Like, he does the whole warm-up thing. He gets going.
He's pitching by the end in the bullpen.
He's basically pitching.
Yeah.
And so at that point, even if you don't bring him into the game, he pitched. So he has to go through his cool down post stuff too.
I think that they were up, 8 or 6 or something at one point on Saturday, but Auburn scored 10 unanswered to win the game. So whatever that ended up being there at that point. Look, I don't expect Mason Nichols to be available right now. I don't know anything. I'm trying to get information. I know they were going to look at him again yesterday. Was told it is an oblique strain to some extent. Mike Bianco said that was all he was told. And unless it is the most mildest of mild oblique strains, you missed weeks typically, at least multiple. So it's hard to see. My guess, and again, let me caveat that 1,000 times. It is a guess based off baseball knowledge that Ole Miss needs to prepare for someone else to go to throw Game 3 in their regional next weekend. At least.
Yeah. I would think so. I mean, if it's like you said, unless it just was an irritated oblique.
Yeah, you just something caught for a minute. And
at which point they'll tell him, hey, you're not pitching in Hoover one way or the other. But
no.
But but if it's a grade 1 or grade 2, you can't pitch with one of those things. Certainly not effectively. Then you run the risk of hurting something else.
That being the diagnosis for Mason's benefit made me very happy because he shook his hand a little bit and I got freaked out on Saturday.
Well, I told you,
I'm being frank.
I was watching the stream, and when he did the hand thing, I went, oh, that's elbow.
But when the trainer came out, he took his hand and kind of pointed to his side. And then that's what I have heard since then was oblique being, and those just hit you out of nowhere. That's not something that you feel and feel and feel. It just pops, and that's a pop. But you know what I mean, and that's where it's at. I'm with Wicked. I mean, look, this changes everything, and even emphasizes if Nichols is out for any period of regional, super regional, NCAA tournament time,
right?
It changes your calculus a ton because I think I agree with you. I think McCausland ends up having to be your third starter, and then you've lost another bullpen arm. Like the emphasis on somebody like Hudson Calhoun right now is immense to be able to figure out a way to be a multi-inning reliever that you can count on in this tournament.
All right, so let's address the elephant in the room, one of many elephants in the room.
Alabama's hosting possibilities.
Roll Tide.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope I see an Andrew Zal jersey on Wednesday. I'll laugh out loud. I mean, it'll make me so happy. The joy that I would feel. It's hard to express.
If you haven't been to Hoover, you don't understand the Alabama fan in Hoover because it's not the Alabama baseball fan. It's Alabama's playing a sport in this area, so we just go. So you see more football jerseys than baseball jerseys in the stadium.
It's fantastic.
I
love it.
It's just,
It just brings me joy. It does. It does.
First 40-win season since like 2004 or something for Alabama. I forget the exact year, but he's done a hell of a job there.
He's done a hell of a job.
I don't know why we're talking about Alabama. Sorry. Go ahead. What do you got?
All right. So Ole Miss needs on Tuesday Florida to beat South Carolina.
Oh, yeah, let's go through this. Okay. All right. Let's start off with the particulars, and then we'll get to that. We got time. We're just hanging out today. Ole Miss finishes the year 37-18 overall, 16-14. Now, that means 17-15 on your SEC team sheets.
Correct.
That is important for something I'm going to mention in a minute.
Beat Mississippi State, lost to Texas.
That is correct, yes. I remember getting a text from Colin Brister, who's the one that came up with some of these stats I'm going to mention in a minute, opening weekend in Arlington, and as Texas was routing Ole Miss, said, this is going to count as an SEC game in 4 months, isn't it? And the answer is yes. It is 100% going to count as an SEC game with the selection committee. Ole Miss ends up the 7 seed in the SEC. You know, Texas won the league in year 1. Texas, Arkansas, LSU, and Vanderbilt get the 4 double byes in Hoover. You get Georgia the 5, Auburn the 6, Ole Miss the 7, Tennessee the 8, Alabama the 9, Florida the 10, State 11, Oklahoma and Kentucky 12 and 13. And then the 3 teams that 100% have to win the SEC tournament to get a bid into the NCAA tournament, the Texas A&M Fighting Aggies, the South Carolina Gamecocks, and the Missouri Tigers, who held all their starters last weekend against Mississippi State just in case they can make a run here in Hoover this week.
Well, I don't blame
them.
I mean,
I don't blame them. They did the exact thing. But Missouri is already this complete just albatross that's killing everybody else's freaking RPIs. Yeah. And now, if you're anybody else in the league, like from an integrity standpoint, you just handed State 3 wins and didn't even try. I mean, like, part of me goes, you're not winning the freaking tournament. Like, play baseball. Like, good God.
I mean,
well, because, and again, I love 2 of you. I love 2 of you. I do. You're really, you're friends. The state media going, oh my God, they're bashing the Tigers this weekend. It's like, they're throwing the manager. They literally threw the games. Like, shut up.
You play to win the tournament. Okay?
Neal.
You play to win the tournament. They've got one path to the NCAA tournament, and it did not include beating Mississippi State last weekend. Their one path is to win Tuesday, Wednesday, either Thursday or Friday, Saturday and Sunday. They got to win 5 games. It starts Tuesday. You set yourself up for success, and that's what they did. I kind of half respect it.
They were not saving McCausland for Wednesday. Hunter Elliott's going to pitch on Wednesday. Mike has not announced that, but I will to take the the Dumb and Dumber line or Christmas Vacation. My head sewn to the carpet would shock me more than or less than this. Like, he's going to pitch. McCausland,
Eddie, if I woke up with my head sewn to the carpet, I wouldn't be more surprised.
McCausland was not available. He had thrown. I know he only threw 13 pitches. Don't yell at me on Thursday. And then they got him hot on Friday, and Mike said he just didn't feel good about getting him hot the 3rd day in a row. Just didn't.
Well, and at that point, he may have known something about Nichols, and he's like, look, I got to manage the long game here.
Yeah, because I was looking for McCausland in the bullpen multiple times, and in hindsight, he never put spikes on, and he only went to the bullpen just to kind of hang out for a minute. So, no, it had nothing to do with Wednesday whatsoever at that point. And I'm not moving the goalposts in the last weekend. Ole Miss had a hell of a last weekend. They put themselves in position for the conversation we're having because of their final weekend. It got them the 7 seed. It got them a bye. And look, there's a couple of things here because the NCAA Baseball Selection Committee, they're kind of all over the place. Like, they don't have the structure in their decisions the way the basketball committee does, where you can kind of go, okay, they're really doing, like, it's just sort of seat of pants. I mean, Kendall Rogers last night admitted in a tweet back at me when we were kind of playing around on Twitter that he put Southern Miss as a host site because Southern Miss's AD is on the committee. I mean, it just is what it is. I mean, Hayden, sorry, you're right. You're talking about Missouri. Ole Miss had a really good weekend. 16-14 put them in spots. Their RPI they're a little unlucky with RPI because I think it was sitting at 17 or 18 this morning. And there's a huge logjam between 12 and 18 that they're just the same. Mm-hmm. And they can't get that one thing to kind of put them in the top of the same. And I do not believe, yes, the selection committee has Florida and Southern Miss ADs on it. Just FYI here. You need to beat Florida. We'll get there in a minute.
Okay.
They get the 7 seed by way of a tiebreaker that the SEC has instituted this season that is kind of stupid, but it benefited Ole Miss. If there's a 3-way tie, it went to common opponents that all 3 teams played. The only 3 opponents that Alabama, Tennessee, and Ole Miss played were Auburn, Florida, and Vanderbilt, and Ole Miss won all 3 of those series. Hence, they got the 7 seed over those 2. If you're Tennessee, like, look, I'm laughing at you because I like when you struggle, but you beat Alabama 2 out of 3, and you beat Ole Miss 2 out of 3, and didn't win the 3-team tiebreaker against those 2 teams. That is kind of crappy. Like, I'm kind of enjoying like the entire landscape of SEC people who are following baseball, like frankly media and fans a little bit, because Tennessee's overall resume is still pretty good. Like they have 40-something wins. They have 16 conference wins. Like if it was anybody else, I think you kind of be going, I don't know. They feel like a host. And everybody going, yeah, they probably have a chance. But everybody's like, F them. Like, nah, just like, nah, it's fine. Like,
they just
all right.
talk so much. They just talk so much.
It's
just constant.
I think. Whoa, you're ready for this?
Yeah, sure.
I think I agreed with something Wes said on Saturday.
Whoa. Hold up. Let me catch my breath. Hold on.
I think so.
Okay.
I think.
Warn a guy next time.
Oh. I think I agree with something he said, which is I don't think Tennessee hosts unless they win multiple games. Look, they lost 6 of their last 7 weekends, for God's sake. Mm-hmm. Ole Miss was the only series they won since week 3 of the SEC season. If you're a 1, you don't want anything to do with them in your regional. I think you would love to have them in your regional if you're a 3.
I'd rather have them than Florida.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Now,
I'd rather have them than Mississippi State.
Now, Florida's got injury issues. They lost their catcher over the week. They lost their second baseman over the week.
Yeah.
It's why, from a matchup standpoint, it's not as bad as you think playing the Gators in Hoover if that's who you end up playing on Wednesday. You're playing a pretty broken team that's just hot.
But you want to play them and not Carolina, right? Just because Carolina's got the RPI stuff.
Well, I mean, you can't lose to Carolina.
Yeah,
that's
someone in the stream was talking about Hunter. Hunter's pitching Wednesday no matter who they play.
Yeah, they can play me and you, and he's still going to throw.
Man, I will tee off on some of that stuff. I will ambush him.
Oh, look, RPI is a dumb metric. It's a stupid metric because Ole Miss essentially is 18 instead of like 13 because Wright State won a couple games over somebody and the opponent's winning percentage moved them down in some ways. Yeah, I don't like RPI being as relevant as it is, but baseball is locked into it. It's the one place where they still have a ton of, Ole Miss can lose to SC, but not if they would like to host. They cannot lose to SC.
Okay, so let's play it out.
Yeah.
So Ole Miss is going to play the winner of Florida and South Carolina on Wednesday.
They are.
If it's Florida and Ole Miss wins, do you think they're in hosting position at that point?
I think if Ole Miss beats Florida on Wednesday, they will host a regional in Oxford next weekend. I don't even know that puts them in a vacuum situation at that point because.
What about if they beat South Carolina?
There's a couple things to the Florida part. Okay. Is that Florida's RPI this morning is 13. So you're getting a really good neutral site win from an RPI standpoint.
Yeah.
You will have gone 3-1 against Florida on the season. And Florida will be 15-16 in the SEC, so they're out. You are writing a line through them. They are not going to find a way to Sunday and host or some of that crap at that point. They're done. They're going to be one sack of hell of a 2 seed for somebody next week in a regional where when the bracket comes out, Oregon goes, oh my God.
Yep.
So that's where that's headed. Ole Miss really needs to get into the top 16 of the RPI, in my opinion.
So where is South Carolina's RPI?
And that's the rub. I'm looking at it. It's not Missouri horrid, but it's 72. It's not doing you a lot of good.
It may even hurt you a little.
It's a quad 2 game. It's a quad 2 game.
So it's an absolute. Okay, well, let's say Ole Miss plays South Carolina and wins. In your opinion, is that enough, or did they have to then beat Arkansas on Friday?
Okay, so it's enough if you think history matters. Stat that you put it in 10 Thoughts yesterday, a stat that's been going around the internet for a couple of days. I'm pretty sure Colin's the one that has the spreadsheet for all this stuff. He does all kind of analytic stuff. It's really impressive.
I tend to think history matters.
And with the baseball committee, there's kind of rules here.
Mm-hmm.
And since 2007, there have been 65 teams in the SEC with at least 18 total SEC wins, meaning however you get them, 18 or more, and an RPI inside the top 20. Ole Miss is going to have an RPI inside the top 20. That is a lock because there's a big gap between 18 and 20.
Mm-hmm.
And that would give them their 18th win because you'd get a win in Hoover, you'd get a win over State in the Governor's Cup, and you had 16 wins in the regular season. 64 of those 65 teams have hosted regionals at that point. That is a huge, overwhelming number. The only outlier is Kentucky from 2012. I can pull up their schedule. I have no idea. I don't know why they were an outlier, but everybody keeps going, yeah, but State won games in Hoover last year and went 17-13. Yeah, but on Selection Monday, their RPI was 25. That's the reason why. You can get mad, you can argue with me, but that's the rule, is that 25 for an SEC team is too far out to host. It just is. You play too good of a schedule to have a 25 RPI and be in a host conversation.
Yeah.
So there are huge numbers from that standpoint. I think Florida's an automatic. I think beating South Carolina just keeps you in the same discussion. It's a better data point. It matters to be around on Friday in Hoover, sometimes even perception-wise. Should it? But it does.
Arkansas we'll wait for this to all settle out on Friday. What's their RPI today? 5, 6?
It's 4 or 5. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you win on Wednesday, no matter who you play, you get Thursday off. The quarterfinals are split. Half the bracket gets Thursday off if you're still alive. Half the bracket gets Friday off if you're still alive. So if Ole Miss wins on Wednesday, they do not play until Friday. They would play Arkansas at 3:00 on Friday afternoon is when that game will be played. I mean, Arkansas does not even play in Hoover until Friday. It's a weird bracket from that standpoint.
And my point on that is, let's call it 5. Their RPI is 5. If you win, it's a massive win for your RPI. If you lose, it doesn't hurt you because it's a loss to a 5 on a neutral site. You're not going to – hell, you might even bump up a little bit from playing them. And there's so many games played now that RPI is not going to move a whole lot.
Because there's too much. Somebody asking why what's going on with Clemson. They've been incredibly banged up. They beat the crap out of Pitt over the weekend, but they have been very, 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 very hurt here in recent weeks. So that's what's going on with them. Yeah, I got several more things here. Let's do it in a second. First, tell you about G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area and the upper med scene. Fill your prescriptions the same time each month and take care of you. One trip to the pharmacy, one delivery. You have everything you need when you need it with G&M. So that's Tyson Drugs in Holly Springs or G&M in Oxford, 662-236-2222.
We're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, different names, but same great people, products, and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, that area, call our friends at Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, South Haven, Memphis, those areas, call Southern, 662-429-4429. We're brought to you by Window Hero, from window cleaning to pressure washing, gutter cleaning, gutter guards, and everything in between. Window Hero has the experience, equipment, and expertise necessary to make your property look and feel brand new. Get in touch with them. Get an estimate at 662-510-7077 or learn more at windowhero.com. Oxford locals, Ole Miss families, if you need dry cleaning or laundry done right, Lapel's Dry Cleaning has you covered. Proudly serving the Oxford community since 2016. Lapel's has taken care of everything from suits and formal dresses to comforters and everyday laundry. Even better, they offer free pickup and delivery to make life easier. Just call 662-638-3149 to be added to their pickup and delivery route, or visit them at 3010 Old Taylor Road, right across from the Mark Condominiums. Mention Rebel Grove, get 50% off your first order. Trust Lapel's to keep you looking your best. I have 10 weekend thoughts up at rebelgrove.com. They're brought to you by Andrew Sego, Sego Wealth Management. Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? Are you already retired? Should you consider Roth conversions? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with a personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Sego, Sego Wealth Management, specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan. Whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere, schedule a free discovery meeting. See what they can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com. And we're brought to you by Arnett's Fine Jewelry. Arnett's is a fourth-generation jeweler located in the old Lamons Jewelry Building on North Lamar Avenue in Oxford. They offer expert jewelry repair, diamond engagement rings, wedding bands, stackable diamonds, genuine stone bands, pearls, color stones, diamond jewelry, bangles, diamond pendants, earrings, and more. If you are looking for a jewelry-related gift, Arnett's wants to be your jeweler.
Let's see. Sorry, real quick. Podcast brought to you in part by, I apologize, I was looking at something else.
Yeah.
Ole Miss Athletics Foundation is running the Points in the SIP campaign. Spring sports are underway. Football selection times have hit your inboxes until the end of the month. Qualifying donations of at least $5,000 made to the foundation. The Ball Society will be included in the bonus point program for 2 or 3 times the usual amount. If you want to get your priority points up, now's the perfect time to do that. Call the foundation. 662-915-7159 to learn more, or give to athletics.com.
I'm with Big Ben here, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I completely agree.
Yep.
If I'm Ole Miss and my goal is to get to Omaha, I'd rather be a 2 matched up with a super with no SEC teams than a host matched up with another SEC host.
You'd rather be a 2 in Chapel Hill match with Oregon than a host, and then you're matched up with Georgia.
Yes.
Keep me away from the league, and we'll figure it out.
100%.
Ole Miss put it out last night, and he's exactly right. Mike was talking to his team after Saturday's game in his post-game huddle or whatever, and he was like, hey, he's telling them it's different, postseason, let's make good decisions. Basically telling them, hey, it's a fun time of year. You don't have class. We're just doing baseball. You're kind of pros in a way because we're only focused on this. And he said, hey, you're headed to Hoover, which is the most difficult tournament you will play this year, including the College World Series.
Mm-hmm.
And it is.
Yeah.
It is going to be, it will be harder to win the SEC tournament than the College World Series.
Yeah. Look at who's going to be there. Good God.
Everybody.
You got multiple teams that if you told me this, if the college baseball gods dropped in right now and said this team wins the national championship, there's multiple teams that would go, yeah. Texas, LSU, Arkansas, Vanderbilt. Those would be the first 4. If you told me those one, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I can see it. Sure. If Florida got healthy, Georgia, Auburn. Tennessee, I think, man, I've watched them and I don't know. I'd probably be really surprised. I'd be like, holy cow. They really struck a deal, didn't they? I don't know that I'd do Ole Miss or State, but if you told me Ole Miss made it to Omaha, I'm not surprised.
Ole Miss's trouble is getting to the regional. I actually kind of like them in a super.
In a super, yeah. Their problem is if you play a regional and you lose a game and have to play that, Ole Miss is kind of like, I'm not making this an NBA thing, I promise. But I was listening to some commentary last night after the Thunder Nuggets series. And they were talking about how the Thunder had to win that series by winning different types of games. Every game couldn't be the same formula. Sometimes you had to win a low-scoring slugfest. Sometimes you had to win a shootout. Sometimes you had to win your game, whatever. You know what I mean? I think for Ole Miss, if Ole Miss were to get to Omaha, it won't be following one formula. It'll be because they won different types of games. Because you're probably going to get into a Monday game where you got to win a slugfest.
You don't knock, you're going to get a game where you need Hunter to be Hunter, find a way to win a game, and then at some point, you're going to have to go win 14-10. And just, they kind of remind me, I tell you who they remind me of a lot. Now, that team was built a little different, but the end of the year once Gunner got hurt, the 21 team is, they had Doug who made it work. Mike gambled, held Doug for Florida State. They started Derek Diamond, I believe, against the 4 seed, Southeast Missouri, if I have that right in my head. They won the game. Doug put up a gem, was great, a really, really fun game against the Seminoles that night in the winner's bracket game. They lose to Southern and then come back, and Elko hits the big home run, and they just bash them and find a way to score more runs than they did. Reed Trimble still hitting home runs for Southern Miss from that weekend. And Ole Miss survived. They get to Arizona, and same thing. You lose, Doug wins, and then you just got to find a way, and they weren't able to do that. They started Taylor Broadway, and Arizona won game 3, and it just kind of got a little sideways.
Yep.
So they remind me a lot of that 21 team that had the capability. You were one win away. Anybody win one game in baseball.
Sure.
But again, you had one sort of path to do it when that happens. So, Adam, I have not heard anything about schedule changes in Hoover. It feels like there's always scheduling issues with rain in Hoover, or most of the time, but I have not been told that.
They've not put anything out yet.
They've changed practice schedules for Monday or Tuesday. That's the only thing. Monday. That's the only thing that I have seen
today
being any.
Today.
Yes, today. Revised SEC baseball tournament. Please note the following practices will take place on Field 4, one of the auxiliary fields beyond the Finley Center. No team practices are taking place at the Hoover Met on Monday. Missouri, Kentucky, A&M, Oklahoma, Florida, and South Carolina.
Okay.
So Alabama's not practicing in Hoover today.
That makes sense.
They'll just head over.
It'd be okay. I mean.
They'll just go over day of, right?
Yeah.
They won't stay in Birmingham tonight, will they?
No.
Okay.
I mean, in this era of NIL, that's a waste of money.
It's like, how long?
45 minutes.
Okay. They'll be all right.
Yeah, it'd be fine. I mean, for a bunch of teams now, and Alabama's probably one of them, this thing means nothing. Like, if I'm Jim Schlossnagle, I'm tempted to go, hey, fellas, I'm begging you, don't run into walls. I'm just begging you.
Hoover has a setup that's not crazy impossible, that on Friday they get Ole Miss, State, LSU, and Arkansas as the Friday games.
Oh,
with those 4 teams.
Good news for Hoover.
Sign me up.
Good news. Good news for the local businesses.
Yeah. Hoover is watching going, South Carolina, you get out of here. Kentucky, you get out of here. Missouri, you get the hell out.
Missouri's like, we saved our pitching up for this.
We are staying, by God.
We're not leaving. No, I mean, you get a world. Man, you could get a world on Friday where you have those 4 teams and those 4 head coaches are just, oh my God.
Mike and Dave go, we don't really like each other, but you want this one today? You can have it if you want it. Go ahead.
If I'm Dave Van Horn, I'm like,
Mike, you play on Saturday.
Y'all have at it.
You figure out who to pitch tomorrow, big boy.
I mean,
Ole Miss would for sure lock it up. They beat Florida and Arkansas on Wednesday and Friday.
Well, if I'm Arkansas on Friday, I don't care that much. I'm kind of where I am. I'm not moving up and I'm not moving down at this point. Same for Texas, same for LSU, really. Probably the same for Vanderbilt. Probably not a whole lot those teams can do to help or hurt themselves other than get somebody hurt.
I think if I'm LSU, I might not want to go 0-1 for a top 8. I'd be a little concerned.
Yeah.
I think they're okay.
Yeah.
I think Georgia's for sure, Vandy's for sure, Texas for sure, Arkansas for sure. I think those 4 are locked.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
And then LSU's sort of the fringy one for me. My opinion, I don't know. We'll see. Your bracket, if you are just curious to watch, whatever you want to do. We're kicking this thing off on Tuesday. Thank the gods, because I was really worried about the 9 seed for the Rebels on Tuesday morning going into Saturday's games. That was not ideal. So
there is, to their point, not to interrupt your train of thought, there is a chance of volatile weather in Alabama on Tuesday that could wipe the day out.
Which would really throw things into
I don't even know what they do at that point.
Just
beats me.
Let's take that on when it gets here. I'm
not fighting it.
Yeah. Missouri and Alabama, so 9-16. Bama has to win that baseball game.
Yes.
If they are going to host, they have to win that baseball game.
Good luck. Because Alabama didn't get its pitching all in order for Missouri the way that Missouri did for Bama.
I like Bama's resume. I think they're in decent shape. I kind of like theirs. We'll look at some of that in a second. Kentucky and Oklahoma, that feels almost play-any. I'd be real concerned if I were Kentucky and I lost to Oklahoma on Tuesday. I think the Wildcats might need a win there to get into the NCAA tournament. South Carolina and Florida. Again, I think you want Florida to win. I get that if you beat South Carolina, you activate that 64 of 65 thing and you get your 18th win and all that, and maybe that's enough. Maybe you're fine. But I would feel more comfortable playing the Gators if you're just trying to win a game and get a host.
Yeah.
Because that's a sexy win.
It would do it.
Yeah. I think it does it. I think Carolina might do it, but
It would set up a Friday between.
You're needing some help.
It would set up a Friday between Ole Miss and Arkansas, where the two head coaches in their heart of hearts wouldn't mind going home.
They would be trying to keep because these teams still don't like each other, and their players would be trying to kill each other. And you're going, guys,
You just can't get anybody hurt.
Can we chill here?
Don't want anybody
one
hurt.
Day?
Nobody winning a national title on Friday in Hoover.
No.
Nobody getting to Omaha on Friday in Hoover.
No, you're going to have a really spirited game where both coaches are going, guys, chill.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Where I'd be like, especially if Ole Miss had the Florida win in its pocket. Let's get ready for next week. We're going to play. That's what I always used to say about that tournament is you're sitting there playing a game on Friday that you're acting like is the end of the world, and the game that you play next Friday is the end of the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so, and they're kids, and they play hard, and they compete, and it's what it's where it's hard. I've watched it. You have too.
They're on a neutral site. They're playing an SEC team, one they have history with, and there's a trophy, and they're going.
Yeah, and they're wired to compete.
Yeah. Texas A&M and Mississippi State finished this bad boy up at. They're saying 8 o'clock, but that's funny. On the SEC network there on Tuesday evening, the Bulldogs and the Aggies.
They've pulled it off before, but
they've at least moved them back now to where it's 9:30 on a start. It used to be 10, and that 30 minutes does help a little bit there.
At that hour, 30 minutes is a big deal.
If Alabama beats Missouri, they get the Tennessee Volunteers in what would be a hell of a host play-in game right there on Wednesday a little bit between the Vols and the Tide.
So two teams that don't like each other.
Kentucky, the Oklahoma winner, gets Georgia. Georgia can just kind of hit their way through this thing a little bit. We'll see where they go here.
Yep.
We know Ole Miss gets Florida or South Carolina, and then Auburn gets the Aggies or the Bulldogs on
the Bulldogs
Wednesday. Huh?
The Bulldogs.
They get the Bulldogs?
Yeah.
Okay. Texas A&M did get one against Georgia over the weekend. And
we got to give some credit to Mississippi State. They closed the season really well.
I think 9-1.
I mean, they really did. Right. Credit to them. They had every reason in the world to go screw it. We're out.
Texas is waiting the Alabama, Tennessee, Missouri thing. Vanderbilt is awaiting the Kentucky, Oklahoma, Georgia thing. Arkansas is waiting on Ole Miss or Florida or South Carolina, and then LSU is waiting on Auburn State, Texas A&M.
Yeah.
They point out here the quarterfinal round spans 10 days, so that's one way that it will come in handy if weather presents challenges. They simply can move to 4 games on those 2 days.
And you'd be asking teams to play 2 games in a day, and at which point coaches are just, God, get me out of here.
Yeah, at that point you really are going, come on.
Don't want to do it.
That was like a few years ago. They changed the schedule, and like LSU had to just play nonstop as they kept winning and playing through that tournament.
Yep.
I remember that now. So let me go to RPI real quick, or go to Ole Miss's resume. Ole Miss continues. Look, if it were a basketball situation, I would love Ole Miss to host because they focus on quads and wins and playing good opponents. And we saw that with the SEC and the basketball committee.
Yeah.
The baseball committee is not the basketball committee. But Ole Miss, sitting here this morning, their RPI is 18. Non-conference RPI is 20. That's good. That's a really good non-conference RPI for an SEC team. Their overall strength of schedule is 10. Non-conference strength of schedule is 110, but okay, you're an SEC team. You cannot play those teams in the non-league, so I'm not going to beat you up on that. You played Clemson, Arizona, Texas. Obviously, you can't help, again, how that game was scheduled. Ole Miss finishes the regular season 16-14 in quad 1 games. 30 quad 1 games.
It's very good.
They only played 3 games against quad 2. They went 9-1 against quad 3, and they went 11-1 against quad 4. Little Rock is that game that is hurting their RPI by a few spots. We would not be having this conversation probably had they just beaten Little Rock, if we're being completely honest.
But you know what? For a couple of years, there was a lot of criticism of Bianco for being stubborn, for being rigid, not making changes. He made a change. He handed over pitching to a pitching coach. I thought they pitched better as the season went along. I think he deserves a ton of credit. I really do. There was criticism that he wasn't aggressive enough in the portal the last couple of years. He was more aggressive this time. And they're back in the tournament, very much on the bubble of hosting. Hell, there's a world where they already have a host bid wrapped up and we just don't know it.
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah. So they're very much in that world. I think they deserve a lot of credit. He's got a team that's capable of making a run. Doesn't mean that they'll make a run, but they're capable. I mean, I figure of the 8 teams in Omaha, at least 4 will be SEC teams.
mean, sure. Yeah.
You know, they have
History says that's probably true.
they have a shot to be one of those teams.
Especially when you're going to have so many playing at home. Guaranteed home, and then potentially somebody getting upset and you still play at home because you were a 1 or whatever, and then that went from there.
But it's one of my criticisms of modern sports media is that everyone's so emotional that when things go badly, that we just attack. And then when things correct themselves and someone who has won for a long time wins again, they go quiet. No, I don't think that's right. He came into this season with a lot of pressure. They needed to make the tournament. They did.
Their plan worked.
Not only did they, the plan worked.
The plan worked.
Not only did they make the tournament, but they made the tournament easily. At worst, they're going to be a nightmare of a 2 seed somewhere for some ACC team, probably. Decent chance they host in a league that's really, really good. That's the part too. In a league that's really, really good. I know that most of the people in our audience don't like the other SEC teams, and I'm not asking you to like them. But I bet I've watched the other teams more than most people in the stream. Texas is really good. They don't have many flaws. Arkansas is really good. LSU's really good, and they finished really strong. You just saw Auburn. They can really hit it. Georgia's got a really talented team. And you know what else Mike did? He did it with the team. I did my Coach of the Year, Player of the Year, all SEC team. And I told you this yesterday. I was a little worried about it in 10 Thoughts because I tried to figure out a way to put an Ole Miss guy in it, and there wasn't one.
No.
This league's really talented. And he did it without a big-time frontline player. I mean, I know Elliott is that player, but Elliott was coming back from injury and was kind of having to work his way back into it. And he doesn't have all SEC stats.
No, he was very consistent. That was what he was.
Not to bring up a bad topic, but they lost 2 all SEC players.
Yeah.
Doyle and Fisher absolutely have all SEC numbers.
Oh, I mean, Fisher would be the player of the year in the league if Tennessee were better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Doyle might be the pitcher of the year in the league anyway.
I think he probably is.
Yeah.
Fisher has the numbers. I think you're going to see another guy get it. I voted for Aloy just because his numbers on a team that wins like that are elite.
That's fine.
But there's a bunch, and I said no one does this, and I don't understand it. Like there's this eagerness to go. He didn't do. No, he did. He's built a program for a quarter century now that just doesn't crater, and I know it came close, but they bounced right back.
The plan was to go get college-abled players that are going to give you experience. They're going to fix your locker room. We're going to do certain things, kind of moneyballed it a little bit, even though they spent over $2 million on their roster for this season. And it worked. You go get 3 outfielders. I get that Sanford's really been bad defensively, but he's hit it. He's hit at the top of the lineup. He's been very valuable for you in a lot of ways. Humphrey is one of the top 10 outfielders defensively in the country. Mm-hmm. He's very good out there. And Ryan Moorman has been helpful and been much better defensively than you give him credit for being, or anybody has given him credit for being, which has been important because of the struggles in left field with that. Austin Foley completely fixed their defensive problems at the plate. That
was a major problem last year.
One of the main reasons they went what they did, 11-19 last year. Chang has been fine at shortstop.
Yeah.
Has given them some consistency there, especially when Pano didn't pan out. Had you not had him, you went, oh, my God, we're screwed because you've been moving Luke Keel back and then trying to figure out third base. Because you would have moved Hill to short, you would have had to move Utermark to third and then have a problem at second.
Yep.
And it would have just blown up.
No.
You've gotten good development out of Utermark and Furness.
Yep.
They both have taken a step this season. And Joe Mangrum has done a job that he's not going to get credit for because they're not eye-popping from a pitching staff standpoint, and you have all these bullpen issues. He's continued to develop them throughout the season. Mm-hmm. He has found some roles. He has at least set them up to be better in the second half than the first half with some different things.
While adjusting to a new calendar on his part.
Yeah, a huge
it's a completely different calendar than it is when you're involved in a professional organization where you have kind of an entire year to work on things very slowly.
And Mike is paying the second year. Sorry, he's not. They signed Mangrum to a 2-year contract where if the staff were fired at the end of this season, Mangrum was getting paid his buyout by Mike. He put his own personal investment into hiring a pitching coach, and getting results there at that point. Ole Miss does need Braden Randall back, by the way. I don't think he played over the weekend with that finger, but Mike said he was available and could have gone had he had to there at that point. No, Texas does not play as slow as A&M has the last couple of years. They haven't done the stuff. I don't know.
No, I've watched them a good bit. They're very normal.
Now, Ole Miss is losing a ton off this team. They do have to do it again next year, but so does everybody else at this point. So,
if you told me to bet against one of the top teams in the league, I'd bet against Texas.
In the thing?
Yeah, just because it kind of feels like they've lost some momentum. They're good, though. They're really good, and it'll go through Austin, and they're really good at home.
They take 2 out of 3 from Oklahoma?
Yeah.
They lost to Arkansas in Fayetteville, and then Florida took 2 out of 3 in Austin.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, whatevs.
Yeah, okay. That's not cratering your season.
No, it's like I was saying the other night. I said this. I can't remember if I tweeted it or put it on the board. I think it was on the board. One thing about college baseball is there's so much variance week to week. Like a team can look really good one weekend and then just kind of look pretty mid the next.
Continue some version of this conversation in a second. First, tell you about NE Spark, the fastest, most reliable fiber internet option available, whether you're streaming the Rebels or connecting with family and friends. They offer both residential and business packages with speeds up to 2 gigabits. To learn more, register for service. That's nespark.com. NE Spark. Get connected. Stay local.
We're brought to you by the College Corner. Autographed footballs, helmets in stock. Excuse me, my voice is kind of shot. They also have all the Ole Miss gear you want, whether it's getting ready for a baseball regional or you're starting to think about the fall football season, 8 home games, all the different colors and stuff that they'll do. They've got it all at the College Corner, 2 locations in Jackson area, 1 here in Oxford, right off the Oxford Commons, right in the Oxford Commons off of Sisk Avenue, I should say. So go check them out. You can also check them out online as well, collegecornerstore.com. We're brought to you by Argent Wealth. Argent, based in Ridgeland, Mississippi. They've got clients in more than 20 states. They provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much, much more. At Argent, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Argent will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. It's myargentwealth.com. And we're brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. John's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows John to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits simply not available to other travelers. Get in touch with John, give him some parameters, give him a budget, and he's going to help give you some options that you probably won't come up with on your own that will make your vacation one that creates a lifetime of unique memories. It's 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. Get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself. It's corinthdental.com.
I had written this down, so just go through them real quick. Nothing to spend a ton of time on. But Matt Stahl of AL.com put out in the finance reports for each SEC institution, I guess except for Vanderbilt because they're private, so I don't have to do that. And it would not include Texas. No, it doesn't include them, actually. Never mind. For fiscal year 2024, what every football program spent on recruiting from a budget standpoint.
Okay.
Caveat being, everybody reports numbers different ways, so all the grains of salt for this as we move forward.
Okay.
Tennessee led the SEC in football recruiting spending during fiscal year 24. The Vols spent $5.4 million on recruiting in 2024. Alabama, 5.3. Texas A&M, 4.13. Good return on investment there, Ags. Georgia, 4.08. Oklahoma, 3.85. Texas, 3.6. Florida, 2.74. LSU, 2.46. Ole Miss 2.04, South Carolina 1.98, Missouri 1.51, Auburn 1.49, Arkansas 1.31, Kentucky 1.24, and Mississippi State 990,000. Those are your numbers. I don't think you're overly shocked by any.
No.
As far as the rankings go on those.
None of that really.
Georgia's not spending as much as maybe you might have thought.
No.
Okay.
Kirby's
efficient.
To his credit, he's very transparent about this. He really wants to recruit guys that will be in his program long term. That is what his goal is.
And again, this is not NIL. This is the money you spend on stuff. Travel, analytics, quick U, like that kind of stuff.
Meals. Stuff. I mean, just throwing money at it doesn't always fix it.
It doesn't?
Nope. And in this day,
what about like State? Because they're not throwing money at it. Does that fix it? 990,000.
I mean,
you're less than half of your in-state rival that's 90 miles away.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
I mean,
I'm not jumping on your grave. I'm just...
Unless you just kind of think, hey, we can't win in this era like this. Let's use it on other things. And I don't know. I don't know enough people there to dive into that.
Ole Miss softball has advanced out of the Tucson Regional, knocking off Arizona 2 out of 3, as well as beating Grand Canyon in the opener. I think Grand Canyon had won like 23 or 24 in a row, something like that, if I have that correct there, going into the regional. But the Rebels start out the regional 2-0. They knock off Arizona in a pretty fun game on Saturday night. Is that right, Neal? Yeah, Saturday night.
Yeah.
That is correct. 10-8, 11-8, something like that, the final. And then Arizona comes back in front of a pretty raucous crowd. Arizona had not lost a home regional since 2004. They've been a perennial power in the sport for a long time. And Ole Miss survived getting beat 10-1, and it did not rattle them. That's a tough loss to open the day, and all the momentum's in the other side. That's easier than the short loss.
I'd rather get beat like that.
Because you just wash it and go, okay.
Well, before it's even over, that, hey, let's get ready for the next one.
Yeah, we had a do-over.
Yeah, we get a do-over. We're going to use it. Let's get ready. As opposed to losing on some dramatic, you feel like you're an out away or 2 outs away, and then you lose it, and now 30 minutes later you got to play. I'd much rather just get blown out.
Ole Miss got home runs from Mackenzie Pickens and Leah Benford early. They go up 4-0 in the first inning against Arizona. Arizona counters with 2. Ole Miss gets out of a bases-loaded jam without giving up any more right there. Pretty considerable early on. They add on with 2 in the third. They got a mammoth home run in the fourth as well from Benford again. Yamas hit the big home run in the third over the batter's eye there at Arizona. And then credit to Ole Miss's pitching staff. Arizona did not score after the third inning. Ole Miss wins 7-3, out-hits the Wildcats 13-9. Arizona committed the only error. And Ole Miss managed the bullpen really well. Also there in the 6th, they needed an out. It's a key situation. They took out Lopez. They put in Gacchino, and she got out of the inning and finished it off, pitching 1.1 innings without allowing a hit, a walk, or a run there for the Rebels. Ole Miss 40-18. They are now moving on to the Fayetteville Super Regional. Arkansas had a comeback win over Oklahoma State to win the winner's bracket, and then routed, I believe, the Cowgirls, right, for their women's sports. Is that correct?
I'm not aware.
I think that's correct for some reason. I apologize if it is not, but either way, Arkansas routed Oklahoma State in the regional final to win it yesterday. It was like 12-0 or 14-0 or something like that. And those two teams will meet starting, I believe, Friday. It's on ESPNU.
I think Friday evening is game 1.
So Arkansas, Ole Miss, they have met this season. Ole Miss took 2 out of 3 from the Razorbacks in Oxford to open SEC play earlier this year. So, look, I mean, we're talking about Mike a good bit, and I obviously I have not covered this program to any intimate note at all. But, what? Just saying. But there was a lot of culture stuff with their team last year. There were things going on. There were things not going well. And you've got to give Jamie Traxel a lot of credit. They have repaired that roster, and they have a freshman class. It's very good. They have another freshman class coming in. It's very good next year. They all count the same. Wicked Brew says Arkansas won game 3 of that series 20-3. Okay, but Ole Miss won 2. You just got to win 2. If you win the first 2, you don't play a game 3.
That's true.
I mean, in an Oxford Super Regional next week, if Elliott wins and Ole Miss bashes out some game 2 win, it doesn't really matter if they didn't have a third starter.
No,
you got to play that game.
That's true.
It's my favorite thing about the 22 title. Everybody goes, "Hey, DeLucia was going to be awesome the next day. It would have been fine." And I was like, I don't know. I kind of felt like they probably ought to win that day and not have to hand him the ball again just in case. They'd already gotten a lot of mileage out of that elbow at that point. That's kind of need to win now.
Yes.
You okay over there?
Just trying desperately to keep things inside.
I'm just rambling on.
I'm sure. I do know nothing about Arkansas softball other than I know where the stadium is.
Do you?
I do. I know where the stadium is.
Is it nice?
I can't really tell.
You don't get a lot of upsets in softball where like a 2 seed gets to host because something like the best teams just kind of win. There's not as much parity, but there was parity in one place yesterday. College Station, Texas.
All right, I'm gonna say this now. Due to what happened in Oklahoma City yesterday, I will not participate in Texas A&M bashing today.
Oh, really?
I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's right that I enjoyed Alex Caruso's performance as much as I did yesterday and then turn around and bash his alma mater. So I will allow you to do it. I will not stop you.
That feels like a stretch that we're protecting Alex Caruso's alma mater. Also, Oklahoma City. Whoa, stop.
Look at Alex. Bald guy, headband. I mean,
they won by
32.
We're putting this on Alex Caruso.
Oh, he was huge.
They won by 32. I could have played that spot on the floor and they'd have won the game.
You could not have. You could not have guarded Nikola Jokic the way that he guarded.
They might have hunted me.
They would have hunted you severely. I mean, there just aren't many white bald guys that can pull off a headband and go play in the NBA. I mean, it's just true.
I want to make a movie about it.
Well, 8 wins for making one.
Oh. Look at him. Season was over like 3 days ago. It was done.
There was trouble.
Can't shoot. Finished. Done.
Did you watch the first quarter?
No.
It was trouble.
I actually kind of forgot about the game till later, and I kind of like slowly scrolled up to see what had occurred there as it was going through. The Liberty Flames went into College Station this weekend. They knocked off the Texas A&M Aggie softball program. Texas A&M was the number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. They are the first ever overall number 1 seed to lose in the regional round of the postseason. And frankly, A&M needed extra innings to even force the if necessary game. Liberty did get them to extras there in the first chance to advance.
Somebody on the committee made a mistake on Liberty, huh?
Is that what it is?
I mean, maybe.
Probably should have been a 4.
Probably not. Doesn't appear so.
The gift in that is the Oregon Ducks. They were the 16 overall seed. Now they are hosting Liberty in a super regional round this weekend in Eugene.
How about that?
Mm-hmm. We got an all-SEC matchup. You'll go ahead and get ready for several of these as I move through the order here for a chance to get to Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
It's almost like there's a theme in every sport right now where they just end up playing each other at some point before this thing's done.
There's a lot of truth to that.
The Norman Super Regional, Oklahoma, very good at the softball thing.
They are.
They are very elite at the softball thing.
Yep.
They host the Alabama Crimson Tide in a Super Regional this weekend in Norman. So number 2 Oklahoma, number 15 Alabama. The Gainesville Super Regional this weekend is the number 3 Florida Gators hosting the Georgia Bulldogs in a Super Regional.
There's a theme so far.
To get to the College World Series there in Oklahoma City, Georgia went into the Durham Regional and went undefeated, winning that regional 3-0 against host Duke and whoever else was there.
Okay.
Number 4 Arkansas, Ole Miss, and Fayetteville.
So far we have a pretty strong theme.
We do. Game 1 is, again, as Neal said, 7 o'clock on ESPNU on Friday. Game 2 is Saturday at 8 o'clock No TV yet determined for that.
Okay.
And then a game 3, if necessary, would be on Sunday, but they have not scheduled a time for that game because that will be TV availability on trying to make those things be as watchable as possible there at that point. The Tallahassee Super Regional is number 5 Florida State facing number 12 Texas Tech. So a little bit of a Big 12 ACC matchup there in Tallahassee. That starts on Thursday, by the way, though. They are Thursday, Friday, not Friday, Saturday. Just heads up here.
Okay.
The Austin Super Regional is number 6 Texas. I think they're the SEC champions, if I have that right. Maybe, right?
They won a lot of championships in year 1.
Okay. I could be wrong, but for some reason because I thought Ole Miss played them in the SEC tournament and they were the 1 seed for some reason.
Oh, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think that's correct. So the Austin Super Regional, number 6 Texas, is hosting number 11 Clemson there. Okay. So Texas and Clemson. The Knoxville Super Regional is number 7 Tennessee, hosting the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Okay.
So Tennessee and Nebraska on Friday. And then your final is the number 8 national seed South Carolina Gamecocks in the Columbia Super Regional. They are hosting number 9 UCLA. UCLA, another very traditional power there.
In all seriousness, it's the sport that
is gaining the most traction.
Gaining a ton of traction. Ole Miss did a really good job with their stadium, by the way. It looks nice.
It does.
It's a sport that I think people are going to be investing in, and this is a sport that the TV people absolutely love.
2 hours, fast.
And they get good numbers.
Go.
They get good numbers. You're going to see it grow in popularity.
I did not stay up to the end last night. I did watch a little bit of it.
I was too tired. Sorry. I got up and put the thing.
I turned it on after they had gone up 4-0, and I watched, 3 or 4 innings, something like that. And then I decided they would let me know in the morning who won. And
they would continue without you?
They would. It went on.
Yeah, I was too tired.
Scotty Scheffler has won the PGA Championship. That is his 4th major, I believe. If I have that right, he wins by 5 shots over Harris English, Bryson DeChambeau, both at 6 under. Davis Riley, Mississippi kid, there at 6 under, and a tie for 2nd. Davis went to Alabama for his collegiate career. Scheffler started off the week pretty slow, and he makes boring kind of beautiful. He just continues to hit the ball. He's I think Alan Shipnick called him basically a real life Iron Byron the other day.
He's kind of a hoodlum.
Oh yes, very much. He's been to the clink. I mean,
the guy got locked up. Come on. We've got to stop celebrating criminals like Scotty Scheffler. This is it's insane.
The internet loved his ultimate dad move of needing 2 minutes yesterday to do something really important, but he had his kid with him who's very small, has a very young child, and he carried him into the room where he had to sign his scorecard and finish up, and kid wouldn't be still, so he took his cap off and handed him his yardage book. He basically just gave the kid anything he had on his being for the moment to take 2 minutes. And the kid's sitting there playing with whatever. They took a couple really good pictures. I'm sure he probably will frame those at some point of the kid with his cap and his yardage book as he was trying to close out the day before he headed on. He's not fun to watch, but he is fascinating to watch because he makes very few mistakes. Gets the most out of his golf swing. He's interesting.
Yeah. Good weekend, like Wicked says. I mean, wins the tournament, doesn't get arrested.
It's a good week.
For him, good week.
Nike had a hell of an ad. Nike is the best in the world at promoting their athletes when they are on top. They do a fantastic job of...
That's what she said.
Go ahead and... You can take it wherever you want to talk about.
No, I'm good. I'm good. It's good.
Feel free.
No, I'm good.
Toronto Maple Leafs, by the way, got beat, I think 6-1 in Game 7. They have lost 6 or 7 straight Game 7s as a franchise.
So who's left?
3 Southern teams. Dallas is still left. The Hurricanes are still left.
Edmonton's still in it, right?
Then maybe that's it. Maybe it's Edmonton, Dallas, the Hurricanes.
And Tampa?
Or Florida, not Tampa.
Florida Lightning or the Panthers?
Florida's the Panthers. Tampa Bay's the Lightning. I think that's right. Let's check it real quick. Panthers win the series of the Maple Leafs 6-1, so they advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, Hurricanes, Panthers on one side, Stars, Oilers on the other side.
Okay.
So 3 Southern teams and a Canadian team.
That Dallas-Edmonton series could be fun.
The South has really embraced hockey. It's fun. It's great. Once you actually get a team,
Yeah.
you're locked in. They've done a nice job. Been impressed with them. So, all right, I'll tell you real quick. The Declaration of Independence Center for the Study of American Freedom. It's on the Ole Miss campus. And they aim to explore and examine the fundamental founding principles of the United States of America. They offer an academic minor in freedom studies, scholarship opportunities for Ole Miss students, bring on lots of networking potential into the summers coming up. And hey, we got a fall. There's a lot of different situations going on with the center. So again, just check the website. You can do that at independence.olemiss.edu or ask any questions to Stephen Scoltetti or Rankin Sherling at freedom@olemiss.edu.
Located in the heart of Cajun country right there in Broussard, Louisiana, the simple goal for Parrish Brewing Company is to make awesome craft brewed beer, and they do it really, really well. Got Dr. Juice, pretty good for these warm days. It's a go-to IPA, highly crushable juice bomb, 6% ABV. They've got Ghost in the Machine. It's a double IPA brewed with obscene quantities of hand-selected Citra hops from their favorite farm in Yakima Valley, Washington. You get grapefruit aromas and flavors, tropical fruit, less harsh bitterness than most IPAs. They've also got Envy, Canebrake, and much, much more. If you see Parrish on the label, give it a shot. Look for Parrish wherever you buy beer. I'll have a mailbag to you at rebelgrove.com on Wednesday. It's brought to you by Art Hayes, Sotheby's International Realty. If you're thinking of making a move, put the power of Sotheby's International Realty to work for you. As a licensed agent with Sotheby's and a supporter of all things Ole Miss, Art can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously. So call and ask Art how. 612-805-5929 or email him at arthur.hayes@lakesmn.com.
Pretty light TV viewing tonight. I mean, the Athletic has the Storm at the Wings, which is the WNBA game. And then it's Paige Becker's home opener is the reason that is on there. And then Royals Giants on MLB Network are the two things they are saying watch today. So light day. After a great day yesterday. A lot of stuff going on.
PGA, NBA Game 7, baseball, Yankees, Mets.
Yankees take the Subway Series.
Yep.
I saw a video of Judge and Soto talking prior to the game yesterday.
They weren't at each other's throats.
Did not appear to be. They seem to be okay.
Imagine that. A couple of guys making hundreds of millions of dollars finding happiness on a baseball field.
They all right.
Yeah, so it's going to be
okay.
Yeah. Saw Tim Elko play a little bit this weekend for the White Sox against the Cubs.
He hit another home run. He got a hit yesterday, I believe, as well. He has 4 major league hits now. He also had a pretty heady play on a foul ball that went fair a couple days ago.
He's scuffling at the plate a little bit, like most first-time guys that listen. Major league,
it's different.
Major league pitching is really good, and they scout you incredibly well. And if you have a little, just the smallest hole in your swing, they will find it, and then you have to adjust, and that's where he is right now. He's in the
learning phase,
very much the learning phase of becoming a Major League Baseball hitter.
Drew Pomeranz got a couple outs around a hit over the weekend to pick up his first win of the season in relief for the Cubbies.
He's been really good.
Mm-hmm.
He's been really good.
I read a bunch of stuff on him from baseball is the one space where like the fan blogs are great because they have so much data to fan graphs and all the pitch numbers and all the details and the data and the analytics that you get in baseball, that I was reading a bunch of stuff about the likelihood of him keeping it up versus it's an early just sort of streak before it gets found out a little bit. And he needs a little more something out of his breaking ball is what they were showing, but that he's been able to kind of mitigate it just by insane command numbers at this point to avoid it. So,
well, and I told you, I think
he gets very little swing and miss.
Counsell does a really good job of when to use him.
Well, his best season in baseball as a reliever came under Counsell in Milwaukee in 19 when he was excellent during the stretch run for the Brewers.
Yeah.
So there was some history there.
I remember that. I cursed him a little bit.
Okay. Y'all were involved at some point in that chase there in late 19?
Yeah, Cubs were very much in that. It went down to the final day, if I recall correctly.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Grind says, does it bother you that it's Leafs Maple Leafs and not Maple Leaves since fall. Y'all, we're grammar gurus. Now that I think about it, yeah, it kind of bothers me.
Toronto Maple Leafs.
Because it should be the Maple Leaves. You don't go out and pick up the Leafs. You pick up the leaves. Someone says, hey, rake up the leaves. Don't rake up the Leafs. Yeah, it bothers me now that I think about it.
Oh, God, that is a brutal stat. Wicked. My favorite Maple Leaf stat is that the Islanders have won as many playoff series in Toronto as the Leafs have in the last 20 years. Oof.
Oof. Maybe they should change it to leaves.
The PGA yesterday tweeted out a graphic that said Scotty Scheffler wins after Charlotte. Scotty Scheffler wins since 2022 15. Carolina Panthers wins since 2022 14. Then they deleted it.
I mean,
well, okay. All good. So that's fine. Let's see what else we got. You got me bothered by the rain now all of a sudden in Hoover. I'm a little.
You told me to leave it alone, so I did. But
I'm a little freaked out now.
James Spann is a meteorologist who is incredibly trusted.
Tuscaloosa, Birmingham.
Birmingham,
Okay.
incredibly trusted in the state of Alabama, and he was beginning to issue warnings for Tuesday in Alabama.
That's not good.
I think it could go north, perhaps, of there, but they were in the Birmingham area was absolutely in one of the danger zones.
I think it was mentioned in the stream a few minutes ago, but Tennessee's apparel contract with Nike expires on June 30th, 2026, and the Tennessee Athletics Department putting a lot of pressure, I guess is the way to put it, saying that they very much may be moving back to Adidas for its apparel.
Who's this now?
Tennessee.
I was reading about cul-de-sacs or cul-de-sac.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
It's dismissive of you.
Crystal Conti indicated the Longhorns have, quote, removed over 4,000 football tickets that were held by brokers and put them back into the system to sell to fans and donors. Notes the department is, quote, also monitoring all accounts that are sold to brokers and will reallocate to those on a waiting list. So Texas going out of their way to break down the secondary ticket market there for Texas football games.
I mean, you should let your fans buy the damn tickets if possible.
Oh, no, that's a huge. That's fully good with that. No problem at all.
Credit there.
Ole Miss, I guess, just missed this. I guess softball kept them out. So I mean, it shows you the strength of their athletic department because Ole Miss has had a good year. Oregon, Tennessee, Alabama, and Clemson are the only schools to finish the regular season ranked in football, men's basketball, baseball, and softball. So I'm assuming softball is not ranked is how Ole Miss missed that because they definitely finished in football, men's basketball, and baseball, and women's basketball.
For some reason, but I keep seeing rankings pop up with them.
For softball?
Yeah. I don't know. Sorry.
Now you're getting above my pay grade. I got nothing now. Just telling you what I see.
Well, if you would just take the press releases and cut them and paste them.
I would know more.
You would.
Read all of them. I'd have a much better idea what was going on.
You don't have to read them. Just put your name on them.
That's fair.
Osmosis and all.
Georgia beat A&M to capture the women's tennis national championship yesterday. Another SEC on SEC crime there. And then Wake Forest won the men's national championship.
I passed by Wake Forest tennis facility just the other day.
Don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast. Ole Miss men's tennis did hire Jake Jacoby, the top assistant at Mississippi State, as their new tennis coach. Jacoby, the architect of completely turning around the Bulldogs. They were bad for a long time. I don't know how far they went. I know they went to at least the Elite Eight because I saw they beat Ohio State in the round of 16. State's been good at men's tennis the last few years. So Ole Miss has hired the, I think, 28-year-old. I have that right?
I saw a picture of him, a young guy.
Yeah. So to lead the men's tennis program.
But that was an interesting polo switch.
Oh, yeah.
Where one day you get up and go, I'll put on an Ole Miss polo today.
That's kind of weird, probably, isn't it?
Probably wouldn't have seen myself doing that a week ago. Probably couldn't do that in Starkville as the assistant tennis coach.
What do you think he'll do with this stuff? Just give it to people.
Give it away.
They always do that.
Give it away to friends.
Is it Jonathan Smith that took all the Oregon State stuff to Goodwill? So people were finding the Oregon State gear in Goodwill, but it literally had like Jonathan Smith, head coach, all sewn in it.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah.
You were getting the.
Yeah. Was he the one that got? No, he wasn't the one that got fired for the COVID thing. Who was the coach out there that got fired for not doing?
It was the Washington State guy.
Washington State.
Start with an R. Nick Rodza, Rodovich or Rodovich.
Rolovich.
Okay, sure.
Rolovich.
Yeah, him. That's who it was. Yeah, no, he just went to Michigan State. He took the gig and got out of.
Yeah, he won the suit, right? Didn't he?
No, I meant Smith. He just left for Michigan State.
Gotcha.
I don't. I think so though. Yes,
okay.
I think you are correct there. Braves over 500, 24-23 now after a 10-4 win over the Red Sox yesterday.
Well, you had to figure they
weren't going to go 162.
They weren't going to languish in poor baseball for long. They were going to begin to play better. They're too talented not to. Baseball's just one of those sports. Even the really, really good Major League Baseball teams are going to have bad stretches.
The NBA Conference Finals begin
tomorrow.
Tomorrow, that is correct. Tuesday, Minnesota is at Oklahoma City. That is a 7:30 tip. Tickets as low as $105. The Thunder favored by 6.5 tomorrow, in that one. And then on Wednesday, you get Pacers and Knicks. That's at the Garden. Tickets as low as $518 there in New York for that game. Knicks by 4.5 is the line. I saw it's for the first time in Thunder jerseys. The Thunder is favored in the conference finals. They are a minus 325, I believe, a little over 3-1 to advance to the NBA finals. That is the largest for the franchise since the Supersonics were favored by more than that against the Jazz in the 96 finals or conference finals.
Okay.
Neal does not like positive stats when it comes to the Oklahoma City Thunder right now, heading into these conference finals.
It's been a tense couple of weeks in the house.
It's got to deal with Anthony Edwards now. No big deal.
I'd rather deal with him than Nikola Jokic. My God.
You're glad he's going to see his horses.
Oh, my God. That shot he made near the end of Game 5, it felt like a dagger.
You wish him well as he heads back home.
Yeah, I'd like to apologize for some of the things I've said out loud about him and to him over the last couple of weeks, but he's really, really good.
Okay.
They are, I will say this, we've covered everything else. The quick NBA thing. That team has championship pedigree. You see it. Guys have won a title. Aaron Gordon playing through a hamstring. I don't know how he played yesterday. I can't imagine. I got tired of ESPN talking about it, but
because he was the only Nugget player, or he led the Nuggets in plus minus for the series. Aaron Gordon did.
Yeah, Thunder did a great job on Jokic. They threw everything at him. Jamal Murray's a terrific player. Christian Brown, Michael Porter Jr. playing clearly hurt. It was weird watching Russell Westbrook out there in a playoff series cheering against him.
Oh yeah.
There was a lot there, but it was a hell of a series. It was kind of like watching this team that you've watched a lot. Yesterday was their 93rd game, Chase. I would venture to guess that I've watched 85 minimum of their games start to finish. And yesterday felt like a grow-up game. Like that was
They got over the young hump.
Yeah,
yesterday.
It felt like we won't ever be the same young, cuddly, lovable team anymore. Yesterday was a big game.
I was wrong, by the way, on Scheffler. He only has 3 majors. He won the Masters twice, 22 and 24, as we're aware of, and now the PGA Championship. So halfway to the career Grand Slam. I like his chances before he's done. He has finished T2 at the U.S. Open. That was in 22, and his best finished at the Open Championship, a.k.a. the British Open, T7 last year, 2024.
So what's the next big golf deal? U.S. Open?
U.S. Open, yeah. Get the U.S. Open, get the British Open, and then we're in a
Where's the
Ryder
U.S.
Cup
Open?
Year.
Where's the U.S. Open this year?
Oakmont.
Is that in Illinois?
Pennsylvania.
Oh.
Maybe the toughest course in the country.
Oh.
Very, very low scores there. Yeah. I don't know who told me this the other day, but I'm going to assume that they are it's in the Pittsburgh suburbs. I don't know who told me this the other day, so we're just going to repeat it and act like it's gospel because whatever, why not? I don't think I told you while we were on the phone. Maybe I did. I don't think so. So this is not a surprise. For Ole Miss incoming applications this coming season or this coming year, Oxford High School, the number one high school that has submitted applications from a sheer volume standpoint.
Go Chargers.
Yeah. You want to guess what number 2 is?
Kids from those
out
schools
of any school in the country
applying to Ole
Miss, the number of applications. Oxford High School is number 1.
Okay.
Number 2. I mean, you have no chance, but I was going to give you 10 seconds if you want to play the game. I saw something about this place on my notes a second ago.
I wouldn't even know where to start.
I was a little surprised here.
Okay.
Highland Park High School.
You know what? I was literally going to guess just for fun, Highland Park.
Highland Park High School, number 2 in incoming applications to Ole Miss.
We need to check some boxes right there, doesn't it? I mean,
that's not lowering the amount of rush candidates here coming up this evening.
I mean, stereotypes, they're not always true, but they hang around for a reason. How about that?
Yes. And don't think because Highland Park is a public school that it's not exactly what you're thinking of here. So it's yeah.
Got some money in Highland Park.
They do. I was talking to Tyler yesterday about something else. We were just kind of sisky about on the phone, and I want all the stock in SMU because if they care, I mean, I'm in.
Sure. If they decide they want to be dominant. And by the way, I'm proud of us. We just went through an entire hour and a half. We didn't bring up all the house settlement crap and all the lawsuits.
I don't care.
I'm with you. I mean,
I don't care right now.
I know Tyler's going to talk about it today. I'm going to bring matches and just light them. Hell, I might light a candle and stare at it. I can't do it.
Yeah, men's golf leaving in a couple days to get the for the national championships. Look, they are a team good enough to win a national title. It's luck. You're just trying to get to match play and then see what happens. I mean,
where's that this year?
It's in Carlsbad, California.
Okay.
The women and men play at the same place, literally the same course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the women get out of the way this week, and then the men head over.
Yeah, I should have known. Heard about that dateline, so I should have.
Yeah. After that point. So anyway, we will be back tomorrow with another edition of Blue Sky Live.
Boy, that'll be interesting.
Here with you. So take care. Have a good day. And we'll talk to you then.